For all your photo, video, and voiceover needs, check out the fine folks at Blueberry Productions. They will take good care of you. If you don't believe me, you can see for yourself. Check out their work at blueberryproductions.tv, the Facebook page, Blueberry Productions, also a Vimeo page, a YouTube page, and it's Blueberry, BLUBERRY, Prod on Twitter. Check them out today. Blueberry Productions, great people, great work, great service.
Fantasy football season is fast approaching, and if you're looking for an edge this season, you need to contact the guys at Draft Day Consultants. The concept is a simple one. Draft Day Consultants takes your requests and connects you with one of their trusted analysts, who then guide you through your draft. Whether you just need a sounding board on decisions, or if you need them to conduct your entire draft, Draft Day Consultants has you covered. Every one of their consultants has a proven track record of success, and have conducted hundreds, even thousands of mock drafts. Thanks to this year-round research and analysis, the guys at DDC have an unmatched understanding of player values. So gain an edge on your league mates this season by hitting up draftdayconsultants.com. That's www.draftdayconsultants.com. Now get after it, fantasy footballers.
Hip-hop fans, I got a great album for you. The debut album from Family Grind ENT, True Speech and 313 Fresh. We're going to give you 2 discs, 33 songs of pure, genuine hip-hop. Albums available on iTunes, Amazon, Google Play, illstreetrex.com, and streaming live right now on Rhapsody, Beats Music, Spotify, Xbox Music, Slacker Radio, and SoundCloud. Check them out today, True Speech and 313 Fresh, Family Grind ENT. Believe in it, get it.
Hello, my name is Travis Williams, President and CEO of Academics and Athletic Consulting, focusing on educating and empowering tomorrow's collegiate athletic leaders. My passion is for the education and genuine concern and care for today's student athlete. It's the centerpiece of my life's work. A college education, both in and out of the classroom, is a truly rewarding benefit. For more information on AAC, you can go to www.academicsandathleticsconsulting.com. Once again, www.academicsandathleticsconsulting.com. Or you can follow me on Facebook at Academics and Athletic Consulting, or Twitter at Coach TWill24, or Instagram Travis L. Williams 24. Or you can call me at 404-542-6079. Once again, AAC is very proud to partner with J.R. McHenry of the Bossman Radio Show, covering sports and entertainment across the country. Please tune in weekly for informative, entertaining, and expert analysis on today's sports and entertainment topics. Thank you.
Back on the Bossman show, you know what? I had to bring my man back because you know how we used to do it back in the day. Boss and Bone said me, so I got to bring my man up there from Metro, New York. Tony T-Bone was on the show. Bone, man, what's good? Time to Boss and Bone, what's good, man?
A lot today, man. All of a sudden, my phone started blowing up this morning. That's crazy.
Let's speak about that, bro. Like, when I saw the Woj bomb, I'm like, dude, about to get axed. I was like happy as I don't know what, bro. So for you covering that team on a daily basis, how toxic was it with the Knicks organization under Phil Jackson? And do you see it improving by him leaving? Because the Knicks didn't get better today by firing the guy. They still have a subpar roster. So is this just a media storm, placate the fans for now? So what do you feel about that, man?
I just feel that it was weird timing. It reminds me of what the Buffalo Bills did when they had their draft this past April, and then they fired their GM right after the draft. It didn't make any sense. It was kind of curious. as to why they just act Phil now, because there was a bit of arguments in the draft room that night. Phil even said so himself when they picked their draft pick, and there are people in that room that that didn't want Neil Lakini. They didn't want him. They wanted Derek or they wanted Monk, and there was dissension in that draft room. So it's curious as to let Phil pick his guy he wants, and then ask Phil just a few days later. So to me, it was so nick of them to do this, to have this kind of dissension and this kind of dysfunction. It's on par with what always happens here in New York.
Now, Bone, I feel like that Phil, to me, sabotaged the situation by elevating Carmelo Anthony, trying to get him to buy him out rather than trade him away somewhere, and threatening to trade Kristaps Porzingis over a missed exit meeting when Derrick Rose went AWOL from a game and he was still out to play on the team. So, to me, it seems like Phil was 71 years old. He was over the hill, didn't want to work. His antiquated system does not work. I feel like he just wanted out of the situation, and I think that he was doing things to get himself fired. Now, people tell me I'm being too much of a cynic, but I feel like dude was doing stuff that was flagrant as I don't know what, and it looked like dude was trying to get out of there as fast as he could.
Yeah, I really don't want to believe that Phil did this on purpose. For a guy who has 13 rings and has all kinds of accolades and a huge legacy, I don't want to believe that this guy sabotaged his team on purpose, or that he just gave up on the job. Like, you know what, I'm getting paid regardless, so I'm going to just kill his team, and then get canned and then get paid for it. I don't want to believe that, even though I am from Jersey, so I'm from the New York area, so I'm born jaded. But I don't want to believe that Phil did this on purpose. I just feel that Phil is just so stubborn with his love for the triangle that even when he hired Hornacek, and Hornacek asked him, do I have to run the triangle? And Phil said, we can run a mesh of things with your up-tempo and my triangle and can combine it. I just feel that once Phil started going to practices and started getting tutorials to the big men about the triangle and kind of stepped on Hornacek's toes, I think then that's when things turned sour for the Knicks, because for so long, Phil was trying to stay out of business of the coaches. And I think that his ego and his eagerness to have the triangle work and to show people that the triangle can work without stars. Remember, he's had Michael and Scotty and Shaq and Kobe. He never won a triangle offense, without any stars. I think that was almost his plan, to show that triangle can work on any level, for any talent level, and it didn't. And I think by then he started to say, you know what, this ship is sinking. And then I think he started to just, almost not care anymore, because he heard reports about him passing out at the workouts, the draft workouts. So I think it just came a time where Phil kind of like almost gave up on the job, but I don't want to say he did it on purpose.
And it was funny, Bone, a Knicks player text me with a prayer emoji, like this prayer has been answered today. Like, I was like, that bad of players is sending me a prayer emoji. Like, my prayer has been answered, he's gone. Like I can't imagine. Like, I never saw a president try to coach a team from the stands or from the suite. That was weird to me, Bone. Like, that just didn't, like, for real, dude. Like, you doing too much.
Well, it's only weird if you haven't been around the Knicks as long as I have. I've been covering this beat for almost a decade, so to me it's not weird, because I know that once Phil came on board and once he started getting his mix in there and he tried to get a triangle to work and he's at practices trying to teach his players about the triangle, guys roll their eyes, and guys would sigh and they didn't want to conform. Not naming any names, but I think as far as our main culprits go on the Knicks, who didn't like this triangle, never liked it, never wanted it. So, I mean, I know guys were weary of this, and it came to a point where it was almost going to be a mutiny, because the players didn't want to be here. I've heard agents say that this is almost the last resort for players. If you're a free agent out there and no money out there for you, the Knicks are the last resort. And that's because of the Phil triangle effect. So to me, it's not weird that it happened this way, but it's telling that players are sending emojis about thankful emojis, and guys are, you can see them rolling their eyes. If you ask for the triangle, it's I mean, it's weird to outsiders, but to us here in New York and covering the team, it's just every day.
Folks, we got Tony Tebow Williams here on the Bossman Show, Boston Radio Network, BostonRadioShow.com. But turn attention to the Atlanta Hawks. The team is about 20 miles from where I sit today in the studio. Dwight Howard got traded to Charlotte for nothing. Paul Millsap probably gone. Tim Hardaway Jr. probably gone unless they decide to match his contract offer. Thabo Sefolosha, free agent, probably gone. Mike Dunleavy, looking at the Minnesota Timberwolves, probably gone as well. Chris Humphries on a one-year deal, whatever. Mike Muscala, third backup, don't really care about that. So, Bone, the Atlanta Hawks, full reset mode, full rebuild mode. The arena's getting renovated as announced today, Bone. What about the Hawks, man? You feel like the Hawks are just going to be like Philadelphia, trust the process, or do you think Coach Bud can survive a rebuilding effort, or will Mr. Travis Schwenker, the new general manager, decide, hey, I want to bring in my own guy to run my Golden State system rather than you? So how you feel about the Hawks going forward, all these moves as it's pending for the Hawks this free agency period as this kicks off on Saturday here?
It's weird about the Hawks because it's not too long ago that the Hawks were a top seed in the East, and they were seen as a legit, contender. And now it's almost a gradual decline where they ouster all these top stars, or they have to, or have a mini fire sale. So now they've gone from being one of the top, 2 or 3 teams in the East to now go back to purgatory, where they're almost where it's like they're not bad enough to be a lottery team, but not good enough to be a top contender anymore. So they're kind of, in purgatory. And if they get rid of Millsap, then it's a full blow up, and you got to start from all over again. Which I don't know if they can. I don't know if they want to do it that way. But to me, it just seems like Millsap is probably already has one foot out the door, or anyway, and you have all these moving parts as far as guys who I think either want outs or will be traded or released outright soon. The Hawks right now are just in like that purgatory no man's land of the East. And it's bad news because the East isn't that great. So if you had a half a decent team, you can get a 4 seed and home court advantage in the first round of the playoffs. But with the Hawks, they just don't. I don't think they know what they're doing. And we see the shakeout management, and I don't know if players are happy with Bud anymore. And it is just an odd thing for Atlanta to have the resources and to have the backing ownership, and they're bringing these pieces, all these ex-Spurs pieces, and they're not succeeding. And now, guys, it seems like there's almost a mutiny at hand in Atlanta.
You got that right, and I'm not looking forward to the Hawk games next year because I can imagine they'll remind me of the ISO Joe days where there's nobody there. So I said the Hawks games are very much a social event. They're very lively, a lot of things are going on, but with the team not being so great in Atlanta, they're fair weather fans here. That's what happens. I think of the Braves and the Falcons and the Hawks and the Thrashers and the Winnipeg Jets now. If you ain't winning, they ain't coming out here. So it's like, there you go.
Yeah, it's funny because Atlanta is a poppin' city. It's great. It's a great city, and like you said, teams are good, the fans are good. But when there's apathy within a franchise, you see a lot of empty seats, or you see a lot of other teams' jerseys in this arena or in the ballpark. So to me, the Hawks cannot fall to be that point where they like the Sixers, where they trust the process and start tanking. But if they start doing that intentionally, fans won't show up. And when fans don't show up and there's apathy, then you really have a problem. And I think the Sixers now are maybe turning a corner. But it took them, almost a decade to get out of that rut. So I wouldn't suggest a full tank job for the Hawks. I would find a way to get some pieces in there, and I would find a way to kind of fix the player-coach relationship that we have, because when I hear it sounds like Bud is losing the team.
You will be correct. I can confirm that. You're correct, and it's gonna be a sad song. But think about I'm gonna tell you what's good for Bud. Half the roster will be turned over, so he can has the opportunity to reestablish himself with younger, new guys who don't know what happened. Because unless you keep a Kent Bazemore around, you might find out some stuff, or Torian Prince, or Malcolm Delaney, or Wayne Brimbury, but those are young guys. But hey, Bays might be traded too, because who wants to be paying him that much money to come off the bench? So
yeah, I think with a guy like Bud, he needs to have a young team where where he molds guys' minds and kind of gets into the spur way, because he is not the kind of guy that I've seen up here in Jersey. He's not the kind of guy that I see that kind of relates to veteran star players in the NBA. He just seems like his player-coach relationships are pretty bad from what I see. So he needs kind of a young team to mold his own vision. But if that happens, that means we're going to have a lot of losses. And with losses comes fan apathy. And there's so many other things to do in Atlanta, after hours, where fans don't want to pay money for NBA games. They got to just go out, elsewhere. So you can't have fan apathy in Atlanta, because there are other things to do.
You got that right, and I'll be partaking in those things for sure after games. The Bo turns our attention out to the Western Conference. You have the L.A. Clippers trading Chris Paul for 7 different guys. I'm not going to name all the guys, but Lou Williams, Sam Decker, Montrezl Harrell for sure, and somebody else. I don't know. It don't matter who they are. But he's going to Houston. He opted into his deal, and now he's with the Rockets. But my trepidation for the Rockets is this. Chris Paul likes to pound. So does James Harden. D'Antoni, you saw it for yourself, likes to run a one guy down with the ball, high pick and roll, space the floor. Got point guard, but makes a play for whoever's open. And that's what he runs. And for the Clippers, it's like, hey, JJ Redick's already gone. Do you let Blake come back? I think not. And it shows me how Chris Paul hates Doc Rivers to a degree, because he wanted Doc there, and now he's leaving Doc. So, if you could, Bone, kind of talk about this Clippers Rockets dynamic and what it means for both teams going forward.
Yeah, I think for the Clippers, first things first, if you DeAndre Jordan and you signed or had an agreement with the Mavericks down in Dallas, and then Chris Paul and Blake and Doc, they come to your house and they lock you in your house and beg you to come back to the Clippers, and you say, okay, I'm gonna ditch the Mavericks. I'm gonna go back, I'm gonna go back on my word, and I'm gonna come back to the Clippers. And then all of a sudden, 2 years later, they're leaving him. So it's like poor DeAndre. He went through all that scrutiny because he reneged on the Mavs. He goes back to LA, and then they leave him. So it's like he's now stuck now because he may get moved himself. So the Clippers are a mess. And Doc Rivers has a lot of cleaning to do. I don't know if he can clean this up. Blake's probably gone, but I know Blake for sure is happy Paul is gone. So that might actually help him stay in L.A. because him and Chris Paul just did not mesh well. On the Rockets side, like you said, those two guys, they love the ball in their hands. Harden's usage is one of the highest in the league. Isn't the highest. He needs the ball in his hands. And Chris Paul is a natural point guard. I can't see him playing the 2 or the off-guard position, even in D'Antoni's offense, where D'Antoni has things spread out and evenly. I can't see Paul playing off the ball and being more of a shooting guard. I can't see it happening. To me, it's interesting to see. I know that I've heard reports that Harden and Paul have talked before, and they said they can work this out together, and it can work. But to me, I'm a skeptic. I can't see these two guys working together because they're so ball dominant. And D'Antoni loves high pick and rolls, which means when one guy has the ball in his hand, the other guy is standing in the corner waiting for a set shot. I don't know how it's going to work, but D'Antoni, I will tell you, is one of the great minds of basketball I've ever been around. So if anyone can figure it out, it's him. But I still have my doubts.
And I have doubts about, too, kind of bring Houston back into it, Bone, is that Indiana wants a haul for Paul George to be a 1-year rental. Daryl Morey is going to be aggressive trying to get Paul George and or Carmelo Anthony from the Knicks. And there was a trade on the table with the Cavs, Suns, and Indiana, where the Cavs would have got Bledsoe and George. Fry and Kyrie would have went out there to Phoenix, and the Pacers would have got draft picks. And so Boston, Danny Ainge has like 7 picks. Do you try to roll the dice and cash in on Paul George, knowing he's going to be there for a year, hoping he won't stay after he plays for you guys? Or do you just, give him a low ball offer and say, hey, if Chicago got this for Jimmy Butler, we're not giving you this for a 1-year rental guy. So what's your feeling on the whole Pacer dynamic with Danny Ainge and the Celtics trying to get Gordon Hayward, maybe a Blake Griffin, and Houston trying to get in on the sweepstakes to get Paul George? What do you feel like this Paul George thing is going, and where do you feel like he'll end up probably when he gets finally moved? Where do you think he'll be at, man?
Yeah, I think it's almost impossible for any contending team to get Paul George this year because, as you said, he's a 1-year rental. And he's already pretty much said he's a 1-year rental. It's going to be hard for me to believe that Paul George, if he goes to Boston or Cleveland, or LA or Houston, it's hard for me to believe that even if he has success there for 1 year, that he'll say, I'm going to sign there long term. His heart is in LA. We already know that. His heart is already in purple and gold in his mind. So to me, to have him go as a 1-year rental, if I'm Indiana, I'm going to try to ask for the moon back. Because that Paul has all the hands in this, and it's very rare when a player has hands in any kind of scenario. So to give up so much for 1-year rental, I don't know if Houston can do it. They might have to get a third team involved because they gave up all their assets to get Paul. So I don't know what kind of assets they have to give up for Paul George just for a 1-year deal, 1-year rental. I would say the best bet is probably Cleveland. But I've been told that that guys in the Cavs are trying to dissuade other free agents to come in because they know they have a sinking feeling that this team is going to be looking a lot different next year after next season. So for me, it makes sense for Paul to go there for a 1-year deal in Cleveland as a rental. But does Cleveland want to gut their roster for a guy they know they're only going to have for 8 months? I don't know. This whole thing is so bananas because there are so many moving parts. Boston has the assets, I think, more than anyone else to get Paul George. But does Danny Ainge want to give those picks? And one of those picks will have to be the Brooklyn Nets pick. And I don't know if Ainge ready. I don't think Ainge can do that.
Nah, if I'm Danny Ainge, thinking about this, you would have beat out LeBron James because I think he's gone after next year.
Yeah.
I think he's gone. So hold it tight 1 more year. Let him get out of Cleveland and try to find some. Because honestly, I don't know where else he can go and compete against Golden State. I think Golden State is just that good. Bone is that I don't think there's a team that he can put him over the top. Maybe Portland, but how they gonna afford him? You know what I'm saying? It's like how do you fit in on LeBron James' salary in the end of your cap to go against Golden State? And does he want to go out west? Does he want to return to Miami? So I think with the new TV money kind of messed the league because everybody's now going to be cap strapped because they spend too much money. So where can you really go? The Lakers with Lonzo Ball, maybe with Paul George, and try to do something, but that's still a blatant situation. So I feel like that LeBron's kind of landlocked to a degree, Bone, because of how the money was spent last summer, will be spent this summer, and that's how Golden State is going to get even better with how being together 1 more year.
Yeah, I think the best plan, other than the Lakers next year when they have $60 million under the cap and they get 2 max guys, if those 2 max guys are LeBron and Paul George, then we have a real good race in the West between Golden State and Lakers. But let's just be realistic. If they don't have that happen and the Lakers don't get George and or LeBron, then teams are going to have to wait out the Golden State Warriors for at least another 3 to 5 years until they age out, because there's no other team in the West, even with Houston now getting Chris Paul. I don't think that there's a team in the West that comes within at least 5-6 games of the Warriors in the standings in the West, and that includes San Antonio. Even though San Antonio when they're fully healthy, they were blowing out Golden State in Game 1 of the conference finals. But I don't think that there's any team right now that's presently constituted that can beat Golden State in the West. And Houston, they give a lot of their assets, they gave a lot of depth on their roster, and they give them scoring power now. Okay, with Lou Williams, and they gave a stopper in Beverly. So I don't know if there's anyone right now that can match up with Golden State right now as is. But if the Lakers pull off that coup, if Magic pulls it off and gets LeBron, George, Ball, and Ingram, and Rising Ingram together, then we have a little bit of a series and a dogfight. But right now, I would stand pat from teams. I wouldn't give all the assets to Chase Golden State because there's no one near them right now.
I hear that. Now, Bone, look at this. Look at this Bone right here. Golden State, for instance, Ian Clark, Andre Iguodala, Sean Livingston. You got David West, Jazak Pachulia, Matt Barnes, and these guys with the young guys on the roster. Can Golden State afford to pay Livingston, Iguodala, and keep those guys around? Or can Golden State go the route of, hey, Andre gets a 4-year deal, we can't do that because he's 33 years old and he showed decline this year. And Livingston as well. So you give him 2-year deals, 3-year deals. If I'm Golden State, if you was Bob Myers, how would you handle the top 8 guys off the bench of Golden State? With David West, it would have been David West. It would have been, Livingston and Iguodala. Do you bring back Zaza Pachulia? You bring him back, JaVale McGee. So if you're looking at that roster, Golden State, how do they spare parts? How would you handle it if you was them?
Well, I would first of all, I would try to appeal to them, about getting another ring with me if I'm management in Golden State. But the reality is, like you said, Iguodala is 33. This is probably his last big payout, his cash out. So I don't know if you can persuade him back just on sheer sentiment alone, because sentiment doesn't pay the bills. So if you're Iguodala and you get greener pastures and someone offers you a guaranteed 4-year deal, you almost have to take that. And if you're Golden State, you cannot match that. I know Durant said that he'll wait to see what they do in Golden State before he resigns, because he'll resign there in Golden State. Durant, he's coming back, but I think they're gonna wait and see what they do as far as the spare parts around him. Same thing with Steph. I think they're gonna wait and see kind of thing. But if you're Golden State, even new TV money, you cannot overpay for Livingston, for David West, and for Iguodala. But they do have some good young talent coming up. We saw in the finals that some guys got playing time that you're almost like, who? That guy's on the floor in the finals, and they're actually playing well. So one thing Golden State does well is that they groom their young guys, and they draft very well. I'm not sure if they can afford, though, to give up a lot of money and years to Iguodala or Livingston or West or Jaja. To me personally, I would let those guys go, and I would trust my process as a scout and talent evaluator, and I would get guys through the draft. Because you know what? In the NBA, it's star-driven. They have 4 stars. They have 2 of those 4 stars are superstars. You can still build a roster with fringe guys out there and not overpay for them.
Exactly. I think that second tier free agency, when all the big money dries up, you can find some guys at second and third tier that can help your roster. I like a Ramon Sessions, because Ian Clark, I'm hearing $7 million for Ian Clark, who didn't play in Game 5, and he was that backup poker all year long in that Barbosa role. So it was like, it's interesting to see Bone, but I feel like Bone, look at the free agency as we get started here on Saturday. Bone is this: Golden State has the whole league screwy. They have screwed up the whole league because nobody knows what to do to kind of beat them. It's like, do I cap myself out to end up in the second round of playoffs every year, or to stop at the conference finals? Do I cap myself out? It kind of reminds me of the Jordan Bull days almost, of how teams approach this, wanting to finish in the second round of playoffs or get to the conference finals and lose, and that's a good year for them.
Yeah, I think almost the entire league, except maybe 2 or 3 other teams, the entire league is just in a purgatory state where they just have to wait it out. They just have to build their assets, and they have to stop tossing talents and wait it out until Golden State comes back down to the pack a little bit. Because right now there's no one that can compete with them in the league. And I know Cleveland was a Kyle Korver mystery away from having a 2-2 series tie in the finals. But hey, the reality was he missed a shot. LeBron gives a three to Durant, and they went on to win that game and go 3-0. So I mean, there's no one really out there to compete with the Warriors right now are head and shoulders above everyone else. So like you said, just wait it out, stop hard town, because what are you going to do? Are you going to max out your cap every year just to get in the second round and play them and lose to them, or even get to the conference finals and lose to them? It's just the kind of thing right now in the NBA that I know Adam Silver was dreading, and the kind of thing that they try to avoid with the whole parity with the CBA, and it kind of backfired on them because Kevin Durant just tilted the whole landscape of the whole league. So it's a problem that Silver has, and I'm not sure there's an answer for.
I hear that, man. Bone, before we close up, before we close with this greatest Boston Most segment in the NBA Free Agency Primer here, talk about what you got going on in Metro New York, man. What you're going to be covering in the next few weeks as you get here to training camp for the Jets and the Knicks. So talk about what you got up here for you, man.
Well, right now, of course, the whole match was Phil, and we'll be diving into seeing who they find a replacement for. I would say keep an eye on Ujiri, the guy in Toronto who was at Denver, who ironically gashed Dolan in the whole Carmelo Anthony trade originally. So it would be almost fitting for Dolan to go get Ujiri after Ujiri robs him in that Carmelo trade, to have him become now his shot caller. And now what that does with Steve Mills, right now currently the general manager, that's interesting to see. But right now I'll be focusing on the Knicks, and then once July 20th goes around, I'll be going Jets camp.
Okay, I got one more off the Knicks. What about Allen Houston? Is he gonna get a real chance?
Allen Houston has been groomed for this spot, for this very role, for almost a decade now. He's been with the Knicks for that long behind the scenes, working under Mills. So he's been groomed. I'm not sure if Dolan is ready to hand over the keys to the kingdom to Allen Houston, but he is one of Dolan's favorite sons. So I will say that. So the possibility of Allen taking over, it's a real possibility. But I would think that if Dolan wants to make a splash and immediate impact, he will go see what it is to get Ujiri for Toronto. It may cost them picks the Knicks, I think, should hold on to. But if they can't pry Ujiri, I would definitely say, I would definitely groom Allen for this job. Definitely.
No doubt. Well, folks, you got it from the man himself, Tony Tebow, with another Boss and Bone segment here on the Boss Man Show. Hope you enjoyed that, folks. Fragrance is coming up. It's going to be crazy and wild. We are out.
Shaitan.
All your photo, video, and voiceover needs, check out the fine folks at Blueberry Productions. They will take good care of you. If you don't believe me, you can see for yourself. Check out their work at blueberryproductions.tv, the Facebook page, Blueberry Productions, also a Vimeo page, a YouTube page, and it's Blueberry, BLUBERRY, Prod on Twitter. Check them out today. Blueberry Productions, great people, great work, great service.
Fantasy football season is fast approaching, and if you're looking for an edge this season, you need to contact the guys at Draft Day Consultants. The concept is a simple one. Draft Day Consultants takes your requests and connects you with one of their trusted analysts, who then guide you through your draft. Whether you just need a sounding board on decisions, or if you need them to conduct your entire draft, Draft Day Consultants has you covered. Every one of their consultants has a proven track record of success, and have conducted hundreds, even thousands of mock drafts. Thanks to this year-round research and analysis, the guys at DDC have an unmatched understanding of player values. So gain an edge on your league mates this season by hitting up draftdayconsultants.com. That's www.draftdayconsultants.com. Now get after it, fantasy footballers.
Hip hop fans, I got a great album for you. The debut album from Family Grind ENT, True Speech and 313 Fresh. We're going to give you 2 discs, 33 songs of pure, genuine hip-hop. Albums available on iTunes, Amazon, Google Play, illstreetrex.com, and streaming live right now on Rhapsody, Beats Music, Spotify, Xbox Music, Slacker Radio, and SoundCloud. Check them out today. True Speech and 313 Fresh. Family Grind ENT. Believe in it. Get it.
Hello, my name is Travis Williams, President and CEO of Academics and Athletic Consultant, focusing on educating and empowering tomorrow's collegiate athletic leaders. My passion is for the education and genuine concern and care for today's student athlete. It's the centerpiece of my life's work. A college education, both in and out of the classroom, is a truly rewarding benefit. For more information on AAC, you can go to www.academicsandathleticsconsulting.com. Once again, www.academicsandathleticsconsulting.com. Or you can follow me on Facebook at Academics and Athletic Consulting, or Twitter at Coach TWill24, or Instagram Travis L. Williams 24. Or you can call me at 404-542-6079. Once again, AAC is very proud to partner with J.R. McHenry of the Bossman Radio Show, covering sports and entertainment across the country. Please tune in weekly for informative, entertaining, and expert analysis on today's sports and entertainment topics. Thank you.